everybody, and welcome back to the Traxion channel for another new video. Today is the day, well, technically yesterday was the day, and to be honest, for you guys watching this, probably like a couple of weeks ago was the day. For me anyway, it is the day that I'm going to get my hands on British GT DLC for Assetto Corsa Competizione for the first time. So I have been excited for this day for quite a while as a big ACC fan, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have as well. So this British GT pack, the main kind of attraction of it is 3 new circuits. We have Snetterton, and it's the 300 version. We have the full Oulton Park, and we've also got Donington Park GP as well. So 3 superb circuits in the UK that are obviously massive favourites for British racing fans, and they have been added into the game, which is amazing. We also have multi-class racing introduced into AI racing for the first time, so you can now race on the British GT tracks exclusively in multi-class mode with GT3s and GT4s out there, which is really, really cool. The developers have also released update 1.7, so not only do we get the 3 British tracks added to the game, and also of course the multi-class racing offline on those tracks, we also get the liveries for the British GT 2019 season, and we have a few other little updates such as AI tweaks in the wet. We've also got some HUD updates as well, so a few things to get our teeth into. Now this pack was announced a long time ago, and obviously there's been some delays thanks to the pandemic at the moment, so yeah, ACC fans have been waiting a long time for this, and I for one am very excited. Some of my favourite tracks there, Donington GP and Oulton Park specifically. Snetterton I'm not a massive fan of, but I'm going to try all 3 of them today for you and give you a little bit of my first impressions of what they're like on this game. What I found with ACC in the past is that, in my opinion, it's probably the best sim for new tracks coming out because there's always so much attention to detail on them, and it's one of those few games where, even if it's a track you've driven a million times, when it first launches on ACC, you really want to drive it specifically on ACC because you want to feel how this game handles it with the curbs, the attention to detail and the sound, all those little things that ACC does so well. So even though these tracks I know very well, I am absolutely buzzing to try them out in this game. I've rambled on enough now, so let's jump straight into it. So we're going to start with selecting Oulton Park. One of my favourite tracks to drive in real life. I absolutely love this place. Like, it's so technical, so challenging, requires so much bravery and commitment. It's just absolutely awesome. For Oulton Park, I really want to go a GT3, so I'm thinking something like the Lambo. Now bear in mind this is 2019's pack, not 2020, so we don't have the most recent teams and drivers from British GT we have the year before, but that's absolutely fine. We'll race as Sam Dehan in the Huracán GT3 for Barwell. We'll make the weather clear. Now I'm not quite sure if it's automatically multi-class. I don't know, so I'm just going to have to jump into it and see if it works. Now the Lambo is one of my least driven cars in this game as well, so I thought I'd pick it for a bit of a challenge, but also because it sounds great and it'll probably work quite well around Oulton. Do we have multi-class? Yes we do, we automatically have multi-class, so that is awesome. For the sake of this video, I'm just going to run aggressive presets to keep it nice and simple, not touch anything. There's nothing left to do other than hit drive and give this a go. See all those cars and their new liveries lined up beautifully in the inside. I've been so excited for this. I just love the attention to detail, as I keep saying with ACC. So you just know that Oulton Park, which is good in almost every other sim, it's going to be good here. So we're just going to blast straight out of the pits onto the circuit. Lambo sounds amazing. You can see a few differences to the HUD as well, bottom left and bottom right. Slight changes in the way it looks. Instantly into this long left-hander. Use the curb on the outside. The track feels so small when you're in a big GT3 car. Whenever I've driven here in real life, I've always been in something like an MX-5, which obviously takes a lot longer to get around the lap. And it's awesome to just be jumping in this GT3. It already feels incredible. I've done like 2 corners, and oh, it's getting my adrenaline going. The buzz is absolutely there. I'm going to fire into this quick chicane left-right, see how much curb we can use. It's going to take some getting used to all these things, of course. Not bad at all. We're going to use the exit curb, shooting straight down to the chicane. You can already feel the bumps as well, the undulation. That's one of the main features of Oulton in real life, and it's got it simulated perfectly in the game already, you can tell. Up into second gear, going to flick right, use the curbs, get into the double right-hander, nice and early on the power. Oh, it feels so natural. This is such a good version of Oulton, like it just feels fully real. The width of it, oh, gone in a little bit too hot. All the undulation and everything. It's just simulated perfectly. Like I swear I'm at Oulton Park right now. Okay, we're going to end the first out lap and we're going to go straight for a hot lap. Let's see what we can do. Got a few other cars making their way onto the circuit. Ran a little bit wide there. Going to use the exit curb. Now we want to be flat over this kink. Over to the right, brake just before the bump. It's not taking me too long to get used to this because it obviously, because it feels real, it's not as if I have to learn anything new. It's something I've done hundreds of laps around. I always love picking Oulton as the track when I'm testing like an old car that's really quick, like an old powerful GT car, like a GT1 or something. Oulton's one of my favourite places to drive those kind of cars around because you just don't get a break. The track's so intense, but there's lots of really satisfying fast corners. So it's perfect for something like GT3s. I think the issue with Oulton is going to be overtaking, which is the same as it is in real life. So I think in a race situation, you're going to be following your opponents through here. I've done a 1:36 in my first ever lap. No idea if that's good or not. Get back on the power, run out wide. Looks like track limits allow us to use that run-off road as well, which is really nice. Go for a bit of a late apex through the left-hander. Get a run on this McLaren.
Car on the right.
Not quite going to make the move done in time. I might have to pull back in, not quite.
Car on the right.
Braking on the inside. If you go off wide here and hit that horizontal wall, by the way, you're going to have a massive shunt. Nicely over these curbs. Yeah, this, honestly, guys, this is absolutely beautiful. It's the only word I can describe it as. Like, I love playing ACC, and some tracks I love, some I'm not so keen on. And instantly after 3 laps, I am totally in the zone and in love with this place. You can just find time anywhere. And it's all about commitment, but then at the same time, you've got to know when to back off. You know, you've got to know which corners you've got to leave some time out there in order to prepare for the next corner. And I think that's absolutely crucial at Oulton Park, is just knowing when to commit and knowing when you're better off underdriving. Use a bit of the exit curb there, keep it pinned underneath the bridge. Down towards the last corner, I'm going to brake just before the turn-in marker. Nice. We'll get back in the power. Beautiful. Running up the hill now, going to hug the left-hand side. It's going to be into the 35s with this one, up to 5th place. Instantly on the brakes as soon as it straightens up. Going to use first this time. Now there's a lot of camber on this hairpin, so it's about getting it in nice and early, using the camber, and just not getting in the power too early like I did that time, because you'll just lose the back end. That's a very common thing to happen here. The curb on the inside there is huge as well. There's a really, really big rise in it, so you don't want to hit it too hard. Committed through there. Oh, just about hang on. Puts us in the wrong position for the hairpin, but we get away with it. Be a bit more delayed in the power, short shift a second. Still went a little bit wide though. Right, I'm going to try this curb on the inside just to see what happens. Oh, it's actually not too bad. Do you know what? The curb on the right-hand bit caught me out worse than the left-hand bit. It's not as bad as I thought, even in this Lamborghini. Oh, here's some GT4s. Okay, we do have GT4s in the track with us.
Car on the left.
Yeah, this is what we want to see.
Car on the right.
Not going to help my lap time at all, but it's good to practice going in and out. We've got another one here. We're going to have to dive down the inside. Oh, he's covering the inside. Oh, no.
Clear on the left.
Yep, traffic management. That's definitely a thing. We've already had multi-class racing, obviously, online. So I've done a couple of endurance races multi-class, and they're the most fun you can have in this game. I absolutely love them, because it's just this other element that makes racing so much fun. It's less of a procession, and it's much more, you know, taking risks, choosing when to be safe, not driving like that. Right, we're going to come into the pits. The line should be just around here. There we are. So guys, that is an introduction to Oulton Park, and as I expected, I'm in love. I am totally in love. Racing around here is going to be a little tough. A little bit like Zandvoort, to be honest, where it's great to hot lap, but racing, especially in GT3s, overtaking and things like that are going to be so difficult. But who cares? Honestly, who cares? It's just, yeah. More of that, please. So next on the list we have Snetterton, and I think what I'm going to do, instead of doing a qualifying session, is switch up and do a race in GT4s, of course multi-class, and see how we get on. Okay, I've set it to skip qualifying, and I've put a random starting position. We'll pick a GT4. I'm going to jump in Michael O'Brien's 570S, and we're going to give Snetterton a go now. To be honest, Snetterton 300 is probably the track I'm least looking forward to from this pack, because I love Donington and Oulton. Snetterton's a little bit more frustrating and a little bit more tricky. Again, I'm going to pick aggressive preset, but the temps are so high. I mean, when is it ever 30 degrees? This must be like the middle of summer on the best possible day. Okay, so it's actually put us 8th on the grid, so just bear that in mind, guys. If you select random grid position and you're doing a multi-class race in British GT, this is, I guess it's kind of a glitch, but it'll put you randomly in the middle of the pack, but not the middle of the GT4s. It put me up in with the GT3s, so that's no use. You can't really do that, and it's no fun for racing. So what I'm gonna have to do is quit and then set my own position for myself. I'll start in 23rd. 23 is my favorite number. I'm 23 years old. It seems like the lucky number for this one. Okay, so start up the engine. Bear in mind, this is my first ever lap of Snetterton on this game, so with no practice, we're gonna have to see how the speed is.
Green light. Give it all you got.
Let's go.
Car on the left. Clear on the left. Car on the left.
Okay, we've got a car down our left. We're gonna brake nice and early. We've got a fast right-hander. Oh, we're 3 wide. I've made up the position. Gone a little bit wide. Come back over on the curb. Okay, Okay, this left-hander is a reasonably fast corner as well. Want to turn it in, use a little bit of curb on the inside, get the power nice and early. Use the exit curb. Oh, I've gone too early. Now we've got a quick left-hand kink here, which is quite a fast corner. It's not going to be in the first lap with all this traffic. We've got a car on the inside as well. Oh, almost hit the back of the Merc. So these middle corners are a little bit bitty. I think it's the best way I can describe it. Like, they're not hugely satisfying. You don't ever really get into the flow of the momentum because it's always getting stopped. There's a few nice corners in there, like the left-hand kink's quite nice. Actually, to be fair, most of the left-handers are nice, other than the hairpin. And then you've got this big long back straight, which you're going to need to set up your car to be quick down. It's a lot worse than the 200 layout, obviously. You've got more straights, so you need to set your car up for straight lines. With this track, there's a lot of corners, so you've got to find a compromise. And then we've got one of the toughest braking zones in the UK, which I've not done very well there. Through bomb hole, need a little bit of a brake. Oh, I didn't go slow enough. It's almost flat in my Mazda, but definitely not in this GT4. And then this is one of the longest corners as well, and one of the most infuriating corners. I've gotten a little bit too hot, running wide. You've got to brake as you're coming to the exit, keep the car straight, flick back to the left, use a bit of curb, and then back in the power. It's such a weird corner. It lasts for ages, so there isn't really an apex to it. It's almost like a NASCAR oval in reverse. You've got to keep the car in the right position all the way through, but it's all about preparing yourself for braking into the final turn. Okay, we'll brake at the 2 board for this one. A little bit ugly on the downshifts, but get away with it. I'm going to run out and use the exit curb. Then we're going to brake at the 2 board. Could have gone a little bit later, probably. Just beginning to catch the car in front slightly. Oh, I've gone a little bit too quick into there. Keep forgetting I've got GT4 downforce now, not GT3 like I did at Oulton. Also, because the track is so hot, we're going to be losing a bit of grip. Probably a couple of seconds a lap slower than if it was normal British weather, which is like 5 degrees. I don't even think you can get 5 degrees in this game. They haven't actually allowed for British weather. Oh, I've gone in a little bit too hot. Oh, no. I can't get it stopped. Oh, I'm so sorry. As I was saying the lap before, that is the toughest braking zone in the UK, quite possibly. And then you've got another one corner later. It's really not my favourite end of the lap. So I'm actually overheating my tyres at the moment, just looking at the graphic in the bottom right. My left-hand sides are yellow, which is not what you want. My driving's also yellow. Oh, now I've got a puncture on the right front as well. I'm going to let this BMW get past, just so I've got someone I can try and attack and race with, because I don't know if I'm going to catch the guys in front in the next 4.5 minutes. Oh, hello. Brake nice and early this time. Make sure I don't make the same mistake. Even then, the car still gets really twitchy on the entry. We'll use the exit curb. Slow down a bit more for bomb hole. Much nicer. Okay, I need to remember to be a bit more cautious through quorum this time, so I'm going to stay in nice and tight. And you're literally just feathering the throttle, feathering the brakes, same as you would in real life. And then preparing for this left-hander at the end. I've gone a little bit too early and used the curb. It doesn't flow in the same way that Oulton does, to be honest. I know some people love this track, but for me it's just a little bit more, I don't know what the word is, but yeah, it's just a little bit more tricky and a little bit more technical but less natural. I think unnatural is probably the word, actually. Okay, we're underneath the 2-minute mark, which shouldn't have been that difficult. Ooh, a little bit too hot there. Oh, no. No, 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 no. Oh, dear. Oh. A little bit out. I think you've probably seen enough of Snetterton from that race. Yeah, as I'm saying, I mean, it's clearly a good version of it. I'd say it's also realistically frustrating, is the best way I'd put it, because that's kind of how I feel when I'm driving it in real life as well. It's not the most intuitive for me. And yeah, it ended... Oh, green flag. Really? Green flag? It didn't end well for me. Or the Aston. Sorry. Okay, the final circuit we need to try is, of course, Donington Park. Yes. I'm going to jump back in GT3s, and we'll try something different. I'm thinking maybe the Aston Martin. I'm also going to customize the temperature because it's just too hot. Let's make it more realistic for February in the UK. Lots of cloud, pretty cold. There we go. I mean, the day I'm recording this video, where I am, it's -8, so I don't think we can simulate quite that, but yeah, 12 degree air temp, 18 degree track temp is a little bit more representative. Okay, we're starting from 10th, let's do it.
Green light, go, go, go.
Gonna instantly go to the inside, a bit of a safer place for Donington T1.
Car on the left.
It's going to take a few laps, obviously, to settle down into it, and then we'll be able to talk about the track, because for the first lap it's going to be a case of racing and trying to find some space. Okay, flat out through here. towards the Craner curves. Oh, inside the Aston, I've taken out the bollards, I'm sorry. Down towards Old Hairpin, down to third gear. Hang it around the outside, get on the power, use the exit curb like you would in real life. A little bit of grass. It all happens so quick in a GT3 compared to what I'm used to. Out of McLaren's, off the curb. Use the curb like we would in real life, put the power down. Try and keep the car from sliding, that's exactly what happens. Got a little bit of run in this BMW. Of course, I've just taken the right hand side line for the national circuit, and we're racing in the GP, so I'm going to try and go around the outside. Got to leave lots of space. Oh, squeeze through. Bit of curb there. That curb on that chicane is not nice. You really want to try and be careful with it. In towards the hairpin, one of the most frustrating hairpins. Oh, I've gone in way too deep.
Car on the left. Car on the left.
I'm quite glad I managed to avoid them. That was a total accident. Okay, into the final hairpin. It's a very slow corner, and you can see there's almost like a negative camber. So if you run a little bit wide, you just go wider and wider and wider. So it's really, really crucial to get the car slowed right down. It's a super slow speed hairpin, and get it turned in. Donington's another one like Oulton where you just don't really get too much respite. You're instantly going from one corner to the next. There's no let off. It's quite narrow for GT3 racing, and it's quite bumpy, which means that you're just constantly kept on your toes. The tyre pressures are still too low for this weather. Okay, there is definitely a move against the AI that you can make. The AI seem pretty safe into that hairpin, so if you're just a little bit more brave and get it stopped in time, you can make the move easily. Okay, we're going to brake at the green hatching. Get turned in late. Hit the curb, nice late apex, power on. Use the exit curb, much nicer. Look at the lap time gain from getting that corner right. Gonna keep it flat through here. Easy with a downforce, brake just when it straightens out. Third gear, turn in. On the power over the curb. Oh, the Aston's in the way. We'll go this way. He's moved out the way for me. There we go. Up into McLaren's. Oh, a little bit hot. Back on the power, use the exit curb to my advantage. Kind of get away with it. Track limits are really, really nice on ACC. You know, they punish you in the right way, but they also allow you to push things a little bit when it's appropriate. Okay, for this chicane, I want to brake a tiny bit later than the one board this time. Second gear, turn in, carry the speed. The exit curb is lethal. You've really got to be careful with that when you're setting up the car. The thing about Donington GP as well is it's not as nice a layout as National, because the corners it adds are all really slow, horrible hairpins. It's good for overtaking, and it's good when you've got a big field of cars to spread them out a bit more, but it's not as fun a layout as National. Okay, I'm going to try and set up a move into Old Hairpin.
Car on the left.
Can I get it turned in? Bollards are going to help me a wee bit. It was a bit rude, and I did get a track limits warning, so I finally cheated. Okay, I'm not going to make a move into here because the AI seem pretty good through here. I've not quite worked it out yet, but if I can get a good exit like that, that should be an easy position into the hairpin. Just need to watch out for their braking point because it's very early. Sneak one up the inside. Job done. Right, as soon as it straightens out, we're going to gain lots of time through here, I think. Early as possible on the throttle. Oh, I've gone too wide again. I'm getting close to a drive-through now. Oh, there's planes on the right. Look at that. Right, so when you race at Donington, it's right next to Midlands Airport, or East Midlands Airport. And as you're driving down the back straight, you're like the straight we're about to come onto, you're directly underneath one of the most popular flight paths for takeoff. So what you often find is as you head down the straight, you have planes flying over your head going the opposite direction. And that's a really, really common thing when you're actually racing there. Now, the thing about those planes, and I can't believe they've actually simulated that in ACC, and it's even going the exact, it's even going the exact right flight path, because that's exactly where it goes in real life. The thing is, though, that when those planes are flying over you, they quite often drop a little bit of aviation fuel. So what you find is the road can become hugely slippy when there's a lot of planes going, when the traffic's high, and especially when the road's cold. It's probably very common for racetracks to be based near and around airfields with all the open space, but it's quite rare for the flight path to be directly against you on a straight. It does look really cool. I'm so chuffed they've actually simulated that. I didn't expect that at all. It's just a little detail like that I really like. It's kind of what makes ACC so good. Because we're coming up against Rob Bell. Gonna use the run, pull out, down to third gear. No, I need to keep it a little bit tighter on the exit to not get a track limits warning. Easy. And we're into the lead. Fair play to the developers, because they have totally captured the magic of this place. To be honest, they've done an incredible job as always with all these tracks, and you know, when the quality of these particular DLC is so high, you don't mind paying the money, and honestly, it's worth the wait. You don't mind waiting, because at the end of the day, if they're putting out such good content, it's going to be great whenever it drops. Nice in there. You want to be nice and tight on the braking zone, keeping the car in, use the banking, and we gained half a second in the last corner alone. Can we get to the 28s?
Excellent job, man.
28.95, did it?
Bring it back home safely.
And that's P1. So a far more successful race at Donington than we had at Snetterton, which doesn't really surprise me, to be honest. I don't really know what else to say, guys. I mean, watching the video, seeing how I was feeling when I was driving probably told you all there is to know about this particular pack and how it makes you feel. I mean, I'm obviously a big fan of ACC, so it'll be interesting to see what someone from a neutral perspective who isn't maybe as big a fan of ACC thinks of the pack. But to them, I'm sure it's just any old DLC. You know, it's just a new track on a game that they don't enjoy that much. But because I love this game, I've been excited for this pack, and honestly, it just absolutely delivered. Like, so much fun to drive, just as I expected. And I think, you know, for people looking for something fresh to do in this game, this is it. Like, this is absolutely brilliant, and I think there's going to be so many good online races. I can't wait for it. You can probably just see it. I'm excited. I can't stop rambling. There's me in first position, looking very, very happy indeed, like I am in real life. I'm not quite as cool in that suit and stuff like that, but you know, I can pretend. Oh, I can hear Andy McEwen's voice as well. So they've even got British circuit announcers and commentators in the game. That's brilliant. So thank you so much for watching as always, guys. That's a little introduction into the British GT DLC pack. It's probably been out for a few weeks now when you guys view this video, but I'm recording this the first time I've had my hands on it, and I absolutely love it. I can't wait to see what kind of times are being set on, you know, like proper sim racing leagues and stuff like that. I think the lap times will be phenomenal. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting involved in some myself as well. If you're enjoying this British GT pack but struggling to get up to speed a little bit, make sure you subscribe to the Traxion channel, because hopefully in the near future we're going to be uploading some track guides to help you get up to speed with this as much as possible. I need to get myself up to speed first, obviously, but once I do, I'll be helping you guys out as much as I can. And obviously you can check out our other track guides for other circuits as well. In the meantime, guys, keep it pinned. Thank you so much for watching as always, and have a great day.